I've already pulled the cards just to save time. So let's start under the deck. I've got present, like usual, present energy challenge advice. Okay, under the deck we're getting Freya in the reverse, the goddess of discernment, and it's saying, I only say yes when it's a holy hell yes. I spend my time wisely. This is reversed, okay? Under the tarot, all right, we're getting King of Cups, Empress, and the Justice card, all upright. This feels super positive. I'm really loving that. All right, under there we've got Chariot reversed and then the World. It's like, why is the holy hell yes here reversed? Okay, got it. Something emotionally had to be more harmonized and in balance before the rest of this lesson is going to be able to wrap up. And what I'm getting here right away is like, the Empress and the Emperor are like the divine feminine and masculine energy, okay? The Empress, for me, embodies all the queens of the tarot. So the wands, the cups, you know, that fiery energy, the emotional energy, the material world, pentacles, and then the mental realm, air energy, swords. She's all of the things. She's all that. She's full spectrum feminine energy. The King of Cups, on the other hand, is very emotionally attuned, very intuitive, heart-centered, loving, emotionally loyal. Okay? This is a very important shift because if we're talking about union, right? Like really being able to not just come together to be together in a relationship, because anybody can get together and be in a relationship, okay? And you can be dysfunctional as fuck. There are plenty of people that like follow this type of content and they are in super dysfunctional relationships and then they call it polarity and then they call it this and they call it that. But it's just like lacking deeper self-awareness and emotional maturity. You can certainly evolve. I mean, in David Deida's teachings, which I don't follow super closely, but I do follow one teacher who teaches his material who I think is amazing. Nina, her name is, Lombardo from Way of Devotion. She's probably one of the best teachers I've ever met that teaches polarity because she's so embodied and not dogmatic. Anyway, there's like 3 stages of polarity. And first stage is very rudimentary. It's kind of like you're still really just playing out your childhood wounding. And then stage 2 is like interdependence. So that's where maybe you have to learn really clear boundaries. Who am I without you? You know, like, so both people have to learn to really self-identify before you can start to dissolve some of those boundaries again. And trust me, there is a stage 3 polarity practice and or sort of relational way of being where you don't need to constantly be reinforcing a boundary. You don't need to constantly be asserting your own identity. You can transcend this stuff, you guys. You can. I know that most people have not, and I do think you really have to be in a long-term connection with someone or like practice this a lot to get to the place where that would be not only easier, but actually happening organically. It simply happens this way. The other stuff starts to kind of dissolve. But you can't skip the process, okay? So I share all of that because what I'm feeling here is that if we're going to use, let's just use a heterosexual example. I understand that there are a lot of people out there on this path that are in same-sex relationships. In fact, that's like a quarter of my clients. So I don't just work with straight people, but it's all energy, you know. But for the sake of the cards and making this easy to understand, let's just say that there's a woman and a man that are relating here. Or maybe they're not in a relationship yet. Maybe you are, maybe you're not, maybe you want to be. This feminine energy is really embodying her fullness. And in turn, because again, you have to remember, a lot of women have an extremely, I mean, a lot of people, but the women that I've worked with especially have a very hard time staying heart-centered and open and receptive when they don't get their way, when it doesn't happen the way their mind wants it to, when they're not in full control. And that is, like I said, all of these, you guys, I've been on this road for a very long time. And I've been through connection for a very long time, right? And when you are connected with a person that you practice these things for many, many years, you get to know each other, you get to know your trauma, you get to know your triggers, you get to know each other's sensitivities, you get to just understand this at a much, much deeper, more nuanced level. And then you can kind of play with it. But in the beginning, it's just triggering. It's just hard. It's like a lot of shadow work. And I feel that the feminine energy here has really learned to embody her fullness despite the karmic lessons, timing stuff could be, some things take a very long time, and you're going to judge that the other person is not as spiritually evolved as you. Cancel, clear, delete. That is such an illusion, you guys. I truly do not believe that. I understand that it's easy to judge and be like, oh, I'm more spiritually evolved. Like a lot of women, I'm going to say, and it's probably going to trigger some of you, but it is what it is. A lot of women that I work with on this path think that they're way more evolved than the men. But a lot of these women have not been in connection, and they don't really know what they're talking about, because if you haven't actually practiced and you're not like actively practicing with someone, it's easy to say that. But when you actually are connected with someone and practicing these things, like you start to, and if you're self-aware enough and brave enough and you can put your pride and ego aside, you will see that you got the perfect teacher. And no matter how unevolved someone seems, they're teaching you, it's your karma to experience that person in whatever way you're experiencing them. Therefore, are you more spiritually evolved? Like, they're showing up in the perfect form because you created them. That's how I teach. That's how I apply Buddhism. That's how I've truly evolved on this path. I took it to a whole nother level when I started to apply this like radical responsibility and the karmic sort of principles and philosophy. So if you want to go all the way, like I said, I'm here for you. If you want to like go halfway and then bitch and complain and pretend like you are more superior and more spiritually above other people, when the truth is they're just your mirror. So any place they appear to be stuck, like you've created them. Therefore you are too, you know? So if you can just own that and get past your own ego, you can truly evolve on this journey and really have the type of intimacy and relationship and life that you want. But I do think a lot of people live in a fantasy, and it's easier to just stay there and then act like you're better than someone or that you're more ahead, when in truth it's completely untrue actually. And maybe you're just afraid of intimacy, so it's easier to use that story and stay alone or whatever than it is to actually be in relationship and then have to do this in real time with a person who has their own identity and their own opinions. Like a conscious man who's grown, and if you're growing and you're evolving, then your partner is too, right? And I mean, in most cases, that's how it goes. That's how it should be happening. And you'll notice that they'll reflect your growth. But guess what? You're not going to be in control all the time. And like I said, so many women get extremely defensive and you know, prickly about this because they've never experienced a conscious man before. And if you've never experienced one, I understand. You've no context, so you don't know what it's like. But when a man who is more heart-centered and comes into his own power, but he's still very emotionally attuned and sensitive to who you are and what you need, but he's going to challenge you sometimes, going to push back sometimes. He's not going to just let you get away with your little tantrums and your bitching and your complaining or your victimhood. He's going to be like, just like we do for them, they do for us too. And trust me, the part of you that likes to be in control and think that you're better and superior is going to probably have a little fit about it, or many, because it's challenging. You're going to be like, excuse me? At first. Later, it'll probably turn you on. Like, I love it because I feel like it's so nice to have interaction with people, you know, or with a man especially, that can hold his own. I think that's so hot. But you have to be confident. You have to be confident. You also have to have your own backbone. But it's nice to evolve beyond the little girl, little boy stuff of like, let's play out our childhood wounding for the rest of our lives and actually like start to evolve into more mature relational dynamics. And like I said, it can take a long time because some of this wounding is hardcore, deep shit. That was so long for an intro. Where are we? Oh my God. Let's go to the next cards, but this is like the reading in and of itself. I feel like just this alone is giving me such a strong feeling that the feminine has done and is doing a really good job, or, you know, grown a lot in her own embodiment. And it has helped, in turn, the masculine sort of mirroring that's happening. This person's also, I feel, really coming into their emotional power and into their heart. And from there, it's like the rest will follow. So any material delays, We're getting Nine of Pentacles reversed with this Chariot reverse. Any physical delays in the real world that might have to do with like monies, foundation, I don't know, family, real world stuff, you know, that might have been delayed are going to start to be unblocked because we're getting the World right away. And it's very important, again, if a person is not in tune with their heart and they're only listening to their head, then they were probably, or you were probably spending a lot of time on things that were not a fuck yes for you. Therefore, you might have spent a lot of time in a situation where you weren't happy. But the happier you become, like the more emotionally attuned you are, again, this King of Cups energy, the more that you can listen to your intuition, really trust it, and move forward from that space. You're going to stop spending your time in places that don't serve you anymore. You're going to start to move away from karmic situations, perhaps, that, you know, have been draining you or that feel like a no, you've outgrown them or whatever, you know what I mean? So let's see what else we've got here. Whew, I feel out of breath. Current energy, we're getting Judgment in the reverse with oh look, my heart is a compass. Wow, the path of love is true abundance. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting from this King of Cups. The path of love is true abundance. So like I just said, if there have been material issues, Nine of Pentacles, trouble with money, maybe codependency financially or whatever, emotionally entangled, like entangled emotionally and financially with someone, with a partner, or just struggling in the material world. A lot of that had to do with not being centered in your heart space and listening to your heart, not just your head. Since somebody's doing that, you both parties here are doing this. Now it's like time to make a judgment call. Now this is reversed. Why is Judgment reversed? Let's see. Why is Judgment? I actually don't get a bad feeling from this. I feel that it's more, let's see. Why is this reversed? Six of Cups is usually reconciliation or a connection from your past. It's like soulmate energy. Page of Wands reverse could be, there needs to be some communication probably. Okay, what I feel truthfully is that there might be other people involved, right? Like let's say like someone's still in a relationship, they need to wrap it up, or it's a bittersweet victory. There will be some hurt feelings somewhere with someone. And yet there's this beautiful coming together, Six of Cups. Like a lot of times this indicates someone from your past maybe returning and reconciling. Or again, it's like a soulmate. It's somebody that you really are meant to encounter in this lifetime. Very loving. Yeah, very connected. Let's see what else we're getting here, but I'm kind of feeling like there might be, I'm hearing it's like the final event. It's like things are so close to being completed on an energetic level, kind of like a soul level. The soul contracts of whatever was in the past that's going to finish is really close to finishing. But there needed to be this. Like, I feel like this actually had to happen first. This, like, heart-centered, maybe reconnection, or I'm just hearing reconciliation. Like, there needed to be some type of mending first. Let's keep going. Challenge is Temperance reversed with the Goddess of the Eternal Flame also reversed. I'm an eternal flame, and each day my light grows brighter. Now, that's interesting with the challenge being emotional balance. I'm getting that maybe the waiting, I talked about this last night, this keeps coming up, this like waiting energy of things being delayed has made the light feel like it's getting dimmer. But, hold on. There's a lot going on. Okay, yeah, even like old grief resurfacing. I'm clarifying this Judgment reverse a little bit more. Six of Pentacles upright. Four of Cups reversed. Ten of Swords reversed. I really feel like there's like a couple of different situations going on. I feel like on one, like there's some type of reconciliation happening, I think, from maybe with someone from your past. Then there's this other situation where like it hasn't fully finished yet. So The Five of Swords always indicates a little bit of mixed energy in terms of conflict. Like it's a bittersweet victory. You're getting something that you want, but also people are going to get hurt. Someone's feelings are going to get hurt. So there's been a very long delay. Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. It's like waiting, waiting, waiting. Things are not growing. You're waiting. You're like, when the hell is this garden going to grow? But that's also reversed. And I'm just getting here that there could literally need to be like some finances exchanged, some type of settling of money, some type of, completion. What's the advice? See, the Four of Wands is coming up again. This is about a home. I was really picking that up. There's so much energy on the table right now that I can feel it in my chest, and sometimes I have trouble talking. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like stumbling because it's like a mouthful. I can feel this. I don't know how to explain it. It kind of feels like the calm before the storm or something. Not even a storm. It's almost like it's like the guillotine needs to come down and just finish something. Boom. It's just like that. That's the image that I'm getting. And then it's like done, but it's not done yet, whatever that is. There probably needs to be a relocation, a move, or like a change in your home life. And it's coming with the patroness of impossible causes, upright. I am miraculous. My prayers create powerful channels of possibility. You need to trust that whatever's going on here, take what resonates. If there is like a situation where there's a reconciliation and something's coming back around from the past, and another situation needs to be completed, but let's say it's another relationship or whatever. One thing needs to end for the next thing to begin. There could definitely be like a stress around where am I going to live? How am I going to pay for things? How is this going to work out? Your heart is the compass. The path of love is true abundance. You really are going to have to like solidify that on every level, like on a cellular level, because this is gonna test your faith. That's why I feel judgment is reversed. It's not that you're resisting the change. It's that this is so out of your wheelhouse, whoever this is for, or both parties. This is like something that's going to challenge probably both people to not just take a leap of faith. Like it's feeling like bigger than that. It feels like a big risk. But at the same time, like only spend your time where it's a holy hell yes. And also there's such a strong soul connection here. And it's beautiful. It's really, this is like, I don't want to say it's rare, but I do kind of think it's rare. Like not everyone has the karma to experience this kind of love or this kind of like deep, deep connection that can transcend boundaries, transcend difficulties, transcend challenges. Like literally miracles are possible because you're meant to experience it. So like things that you really think are not possible will become possible. And it sounds like fantastical. Like what is this, a fucking Disney movie? Like believe in love and all your dreams will come true. But I promise, like I said, I'll write a book. I'll do something. Like one day I'll share, maybe not all the details intimately, but like this is a real thing. And some people are just meant to be together, or you're just meant to experience a certain connection. It's meant to be. It's meant to be not just for you, but for like the people in your orbit, the people you serve, your community. I'm really thinking right now about Benny Blanco and Selena Gomez, right? They're obviously celebrity, but and they've known each other for a long time, and he's a music producer and an artist, and he just produced her new album with her. They did it together, and everybody, and his interview with Jay Shetty, their podcast went viral, and it is a beautiful podcast. I watched it and then it went viral afterwards, but he's so emotionally intelligent. You know, people are like, he's not good looking, why did she go for him? And then you hear him open his mouth and you're like, oh, I mean, I get it anyways. I've followed him for a long time. He's got an amazing personality, and he's super eloquent and, again, extremely emotionally intelligent. But at the same time, like, very masculine, but also in touch with his feminine. Like he is to me is like a very full spectrum masculine energy. Maybe a little bit on the softer side, but you can tell he still holds his own. You know what I mean? He's a boss. He's got his business. He dresses a little bit effeminate. Maybe sometimes his mannerisms are a little bit like that, but I think he's still very masculine in the way he holds himself when he's with her. And you can just tell by the way that Selena looks at him, like how, I mean, you feel it. Anybody that knows anything knows. You can just tell how, those are the types of partnerships that happen after the really like traumatic ones, or like you're in some awful marriage for a long time, or just something so cold or disconnected or like icky, and then you meet a person and you've both emotionally evolved, and you get to, like, this is what I'm feeling here, this like emotional evolution. That is so beautiful, and you get to experience that type of soul connection, which they clearly have, you know what I mean? But they both had to go through a lot. Like he admittedly is like, look, I've been in therapy for like almost 20 years, and she had to go through that like awful Bieber drama and watch him get married and have a kid, and while she was alone, and just it's very hard, you know? And you can just see why they love each other so much, and how much like mutual respect and admiration and gentleness that there is in their connection, where they can really do all the things, but not, they're not, I don't know how to explain it. It's like that stage, that higher stage of polarity, where you're not just in your wounding anymore. You've evolved past that. And people are like blown away. I'm not, I'm like, this is amazing, but I understand that not a lot of people know men like that. I've been blessed to have a lot of emotionally intelligent, evolved men in my orbit, but most people don't, so you don't see it. And when you see it, but when you experience it personally, like in your romantic life, it's going to be next level for you guys. And if you've done the work with someone for a really long time, trust me, it's like you feel like you're getting like a reward almost. You're like, this is the reward is peace. Peace with passion. Because you can tell with Benny and Selena that they have a lot of chemistry. But also it feels very calm between them. It's passionate, but it's like a mature passionate, so it's not chaotic and roller coastery and all over the fucking place, and you know what I mean? Like, it's not that. It's something, it's better than that, in my opinion. Because eventually you're not going to want to be on the roller coaster emotionally with someone just to have chemistry. You will get tired. You want the chemistry, but you want it to feel also like your safe space. I mean, I do. So that's what I help people do. So that's, yeah, wow, this is like a lot, but let's just get one more. I want to get one more in this Four of Wands reversed. I just feel, yeah, if you put in the work and focus, Eight of Pentacles, you're going to get whatever clarity that you need around this maybe living situation. You'll have to make a decision. You will have to at some point stop juggling two options. You're going to have to just like make a decision. You can't stay on the fence forever. You're just going to have to like, again, the guillotine has to like come down, and something has to end. I'm feeling a lot of like weird energy in my throat. So I do think there needs to be probably like, for someone, they need to like have that conversation and finish something. Yeah, look, the Lovers upright. That's the choice probably about relationship. Yeah, you need to make a choice, because one path that you're on is like not your destiny. You need to like get on the path of your actual destiny. It's going to require a hard decision. Like I said, a hard decision. And we're getting Page of Pentacles. Yeah, look, Page of Cups reversed, and the Tower, and Wheel of Fortune reversed, and then the Fool. Something definitely has to boom, explode, be done. Could be a relationship. Page of Cups reversed is feeling like you don't want to do this, but you know you have to do it. It's kind of that like, I'm afraid, but at the same time, I can't play small anymore. Like, I can't be a baby about this. I really have to like go full force, like in an intelligent, mature way. The Moon, you got to like face your fears around your fear of communicating something that's going to disappoint someone else. That's what I feel. That's why I think this harmonization or whatever happened here, King of Cups, Empress, Justice, Six of Cups, like that felt like the precursor to then go deal with a difficult situation. Like you needed to learn how to work through conflict, maybe with somebody that you really love or around a situation that you really want, so that then you can deal with the situation that's been like burdening you. And it's going to feel like harder to do that. But I feel if you're more balanced now and more clear about what makes you happy and what you really want, and you're not lying to yourself about it anymore, you're not in denial. No party here is in denial. This is like, this King of Cups and Empress and Justice feels very clear to me. This feels clear. It's like this is over here. It's not quite happened, I feel, yet. It's coming. This other thing has to like complete itself. Okay? We'll just get one card. Overall energy here. Overall energy. I don't know what I'm going to name this. Artemis. Do you see how she's got that bow and arrow? And she's pointing it like very clearly. Artemis says, embrace the energy of new beginnings, passion, and action by honoring your inner maiden. Basically like the one who's standing at the beginning of a new journey, who has to make a really difficult decision and on something new that hasn't like fully matured yet, because the maiden is the first stage of the feminine energy too. So that's feeling like you're at the begin. It's almost like a new path is unfolding and you're gonna have to like be brave and make that choice. It's going to put you on a new path. And what's this one about? It says it's time to step into the new. There you go. You are the personification of trial by fire. Wow. And you can now step into a fresh way of being. Anything is possible. She's a Navajo goddess. Do you see what I mean? Anything is possible. It's saying the patroness of impossible causes. I am miraculous. Some probably little miracle or big miracle will happen, but you have to have such trust in this process and like put it all on the line. And it will feel edgy, risky, scary, all of the above. Like it will bring up all your deepest fears, but I really truly feel that on the other side of this, you're going to be like, thank God that I had the faith to do this. I'm not saying there won't be other challenges. I'm just saying, I'm telling you, go watch that interview with Selena and Benny Blanco and see their dynamic together. And you tell me whether you're single or in a shitty relationship right now, or one that's been super painful, especially emotionally. You tell me that you don't want to experience a flavor of that in your lifetime. It is possible. You have to do the work. You have to do the shadow work. You have to make changes. You have to leave things behind. You have to have new beginnings. You have to finish karma with certain people. And then the blessings, the positive blessings. Not everything about this path is meant to be hard, you guys, and painful, okay? There's a lot of joy to be had, but you gotta do the hard stuff too, you know? So if you want some help with this, you can book a 60-minute clarity session, individual readings, and we'll go through one of these for you, but personalized. And then I send you off with an email with like resources to keep using. So maybe different meditations or other exercises, things that are tailored to what you're going through right now, because I have an arsenal of like resources from the last 12 years. So I have shit tons of stuff to give you guys. So I'll always send you off with something to keep the momentum going so you're not left hanging. And everything else I've got going on, like the Stripped podcast is back. Links for that are below on Spotify and Apple. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one.